Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are going to be giving you a full review breakdown of the latest update patch notes for 1.0.22, Rage of Dragons. So as most of you know, we'll do a full read through. I'll give you my thoughts and my opinions on each, and then I'll also come out with a highlighted version, a TLDR, that I usually do that on some type of like a Google Doc outline of just what I feel are the most standout features. So that'll probably come out maybe the day after this one does. So let's go ahead and see, is this going to be a W, an L, net positive, net negative? Let's see where this goes. Okay, so starting off, we see that the version 1.0.22 is going to be releasing on the 24th. That is 6 days from now. Doesn't say a time yet, but that's normal. Usually the next update that we get, where typically they'll repost this, but in the top portion here, they'll usually have a time for UTC that it's going to hit. Number 1, Season T1 Rage of Dragons is coming. After completing Season 2 Plus, players will begin a whole new season, a new map of Tamaris allowing more intense combat, brand new season policies, allowing you to formulate your own unique strategy, introducing the amazing new season talents system, whether you want to focus on melee attacks, range combat, or building an impenetrable defense, it's all up to you. Okay, interesting. So this was touted to us a little bit earlier. I can say that now that this has kind of come out, where in our CC group, they kind of mentioned that there would be some adjustments to the Season 2, the new Season 2 plus, if you want to say that, to keep it easy to understand map. And obviously, we don't know everything that's going to be factored in. There's clearly not a lot of details here, but this essentially kind of doubles down on that, which is it is going to be a new map. Now, bear in mind, we kind of already knew this was going to happen because every season thus far, they've done adjustments, whether it's a brand new map or it's doing adjustments to the current season map. This has been consistent. But it is nice to hear that they're saying, hey, it is going to be a new map. But again, I think the challenge here is it a pure new map or is it an adjustment to the current Season 2 map, right? Because that's the thing here. That this wasn't too specific. Again, you could probably read into it, but I would just like a little bit more detail there, right? So for me, it would have been nice if they said, it is a new map, but it's going to be an adjustment off of the Season 2 Plus map or the Season 2 map. Or they would have said, no, it's a completely new map that is going to be like a teaser to Season 3 or something. Just some details there would have been nice. 1-2, the brand new season allowing you to formulate your own unique strategy. Okay, this is... I mean, yeah, sure, is it nice to get new season policies? But the thing is this only additions or is this changes and edits to current? Are we seeing subtractions and removals? There's obviously not a lot of details here, but I think we can at least say that there will be different/new season policies. And the fact that they're changing that up per season, even if they're just doing adjustments here and there, and even if there's not really a lot of new ones, I still think is at least nice because it kind of gives you this refresh approach, or at least vibe, as you're going into a new season. And then we have introducing the amazing new season talent system. So this could be cool. I think there is some potential upside here, where these, to me, kind of fall a little bit more along quality of life, and I'm always a big fan of that. But again, there's not obviously a lot of details on what that is going to look like. But is it going to be something where because remember, the current talent system kind of already operates as that, right? Where you have marksman, you have gathering, you have garrison, you have rally, you have skills, etc. Right? So you have, but again, are they saying that the new talent system is going to be more role based, where instead of it saying marksman, it'll say ranged, instead of tank or infantry, it's going to say melee? What exactly does that mean, right? And I think that's really where it's a little bit up in the air. Does it sound cool at face value? Sure, but we don't really know what that is, so we'll have to wait. 2, a smoother route to prosperity. New heroes. Added the new legendary hero Bertrand is magic PvP skills. Okay. Available from Lucky Spin and Wheel of Destiny events. Okay, unfortunate. Added the legendary hero Towheart magic garrison support. So 2 new magic heroes. 1 support, 1 skills. Available from the Wheel of Destiny and Strongest Lord. events. Okay, unfortunate, but all right. And let me say this. The reason I say that is not like a hard dig. It's more of an, I've mentioned this before, the way I feel about heroes, new heroes when they're getting introduced. If they're being introduced into pay-gated events or just pay-gated in general, and let's be real, Strongest Lord is a pay-gated event. I don't care what anyone says, it is. Because at the end of the day, the players who will always have the highest percentage chance of being able to place in those top positions to get those heroes are usually those that spend money, right? It doesn't mean that a free-to-play cannot potentially break in. It's just very unlikely because this is a spender event once you kind of strip it away. So the way I feel about heroes is that if they introduce new heroes and they fall into either a pay-to-win event or a pay-gated type system, that after a period of time elapses, whether that's a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4, 5, 6 months, those heroes should then transition, or not transition, but they should be added to gold chests, right? So that way you can still buy them even after they're added to gold chest after a period of time, but then you have that early access window specifically for spenders, right? To me, that's how it should work, and that would give everyone the best of both worlds. That way you don't have to come out with some type of like Card King event like they did in Rock. They would just be added to gold chests. And I actually think that move would immediately ingratiate themselves as developers with the community, because it would show the community that, you know what, we're able to figure out how to work with spenders and free-to-play and really offer the best of both worlds, right? That, to me, if that ever happens, dude, I would praise them for that, because to me, that seems like the best move compared to how most, I don't know if somebody say most, but how a healthy number of Kingdom Builders typically operate with how they come out with pay-gated heroes versus free-to-play, and how to really make the gold chest more valuable and more beneficial. And also, it would incredibly increase the free-to-play friendly level of the game, and just put CoD into a higher stratosphere of Kingdom Builders in the genre. Okay, then we get to new artifacts. Added the legendary artifact Mirage Orb Magic PvP Assault, available from Forge of Light and Riches of the Forest. Added epic artifacts Sunflame, Hammer, Guardian's Runic Longword, Steelheart Avenger, Lakeside Rhapsody, Dagger of Betrayal. All are available from the Forge of Light event. Okay. Nice to know that this, I don't see why they couldn't just add that in for this. I don't think people mind reading it, so that would have been nice just to include what those are, hopefully an improvement for next time. 2-3, new War Pets. Added the War Pets Shadow Fade Drake and Brune Bear. Both can now be captured in the field. Okay. Would have been nice if they gave us kind of a brief preview like they did here. It just feels like a missed opportunity, but all right. Number 4, improved turrets. Each player can now build a maximum of 2 turrets. Previously, it was 3. Okay, unfortunate. Like we talked about before, players should only be able to build 1 turret. Going from 3 to 2, I don't think is really going to set an appropriate gauge on how that looks, because you're only reducing it by 1. And again, you have to think about how many players on average are in active alliances, right? This is usually somewhere between 150 and 200, right? You would argue. And so because of that, you multiply that by 2. Now you have, 350 or 300 to 400 turrets that are able to be built, on top of not putting any kind of restrictions on how many can be built per. This is why it needed to go down to 1, and that's where you start your baseline from, right? Because so many turrets, like if you look across the KVKs and you see how many turrets are being built on defense lines, it's ridiculous. It just is. Turrets are a good feature, but it needs to be limited. And going from 3 to 2 isn't really doing that. If it went from 3 to 1, then you can say this is our baseline. Now let's let that run a season or 2 and see how that plays out, and then we can make an adjustment. But the fact is, it would be different if people were just saying, "Oh, there's just a little bit too many turrets." No one's saying that. What everyone is saying is that there's too many turrets because there's an abhorrent amount of them. So this is a missed opportunity here. Is it nice that they're reducing it from 3 to 2? Sure. But this is more of like a Band-Aid small step fix rather than really what it should have been. So again, that's unfortunate for me to see. Again, I like the direction because it's going down, not up, but it really needed to be 1 here. Slightly reduced damage dealt by turrets while significantly increasing resources required to build a turret. I'm going to be honest, I don't know if the damage really needed to be decreased by turrets, because I don't think that we really ever got into a situation where we were seeing max level turrets on defense lines where every single turret was at max level, right? For the amount. So I don't think they needed to be damage decreased. I do like that they cost a little bit more resources. That I think is actually a nice adjustment there. Overall, this is a little bit lacking on just the general changes for turrets. I think this could have been better. Let's go to 2-5. Adjusted spires. Spires can no longer attack Alliance behemoths. I'm going to be honest. I don't... That doesn't make any sense to me. It's a spire. It's something that attacks enemies. A behemoth is an enemy. Were people overwhelmingly supportive of spires? Like, were there suggestions? And if there were, let me know in the comments, right? Were there suggestions where we were just seeing hundreds of upvotes for spires to not be able to attack behemoths? Because if so, I'll be honest, that doesn't make any sense, right? It's a spire, it's a turret, it's doing damage within a radius to an enemy, right? And a behemoth is an enemy. If it's not the behemoth that alliance that controls the spire is summoning. So I don't really get this. It would have been nice to have an explanation there. 5-2, I guess, increased damage dealt by spires. I guess I'm somewhat okayish with this. However, again, this is what I'm talking about, man. Explanations, details need to be provided here, right? If you're going to increase damage for a spire, just like if you're going to make adjustments to Alliance behemoths, provide a justification. Provide what was there overwhelming complaints? Was there overwhelming feedback? And then if so, what was the feedback? And then why are you making the adjustment, right? Again, details, explain. We've mentioned this before. If you go and look at League of Legends patch notes, that's exactly how they should do these patch notes, right? Where you give a before and after effect for changes, and then you give brief explanations. People do not mind reading patch notes for those of us that like to read them. Again, some missed opportunities. It is unfortunate because we talk about this often, right? And we need explanations. So it's very unfortunate that that's not happening. Especially when they came out and said that before that they would be doing these things. Now it kind of feels like false promises, right? And again, that's being objective and constructive because these are words that they stated, and we're just not consistently seeing that. So let's look at 6. Adjusted war pet skill values. Split Pain Bloom, 3 stars with every 155 points of Spirit. Spirit Pain Bloom hits an extra enemy. Previously was 160 for the amount of points to accumulate, which I'm assuming is just Rage. Again, I haven't used war pets, so I'm just going off of like logic and common sense here. Is that I'm guessing, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, or just provide a correct point. And then we have Split Ice Core 3 stars with every 150 points of Spirit. Spirit Ice Core hits an extra enemy. Previously 160. So this is a bit of a buff because now it's saying that basically these skills are going to proc at a lower point accumulation rather than a higher point accumulation. Again, I don't use these, so I'll defer to those of you who do use these. Let me know in the comments, do you think this is a nice adjustment? I will say this. I like that the number of points that they're reducing feels smaller. It's not going from 160 to 100, right? It's small adjustments, so I do like that. I'm always a little bit more in favor of that. Unless there's overwhelming evidence that says, hey, this is super OP, like we mentioned with the turrets. But let me know what you guys think. Then we get to number 7. 2-7, you will now receive recommendations for which skills to teach your war pets. Okay, I mean, I don't think that's, again, as long as it's not forcing you, a recommendation system totally fine with. 2-8, improve the appearance of city buildings, giving your city a sleek new style. Okay, listen, I'm down for, pimping out my ride, if you will. 2-9, other improvements. Significantly increase the maximum number of occupiers for villages in Season 2 and future seasons. I'm going to be real. This is unfortunate. Sure, is it a nice change? Of course. But This is the thing. You're just beating around the bush. You're giving Band-Aid fixes for what is a simple solution. Just remove the village member capacity limits and go back to what the previous system was. There was nothing wrong with the previous system. No one complained about it. There wasn't any overwhelming support or massive feedback push for changing the system, which was where you built a flag. And then if a village was within that flag's territory, you would connect a road to it, and then every member of the alliance got those passive buffs. That's exactly what it should be reverted to. And this was the other option I mentioned. Or I will settle for, and I should say we will settle for, if you really want to add some type of extra hurdle to jump through, just require every single member of the alliance to go and attack the village, and then they'll get the passive buff. But don't put a member limit cap on villages. That is still rough. Again, is there some type of overwhelming evidence that's going in favor, or some overwhelming explanation that's saying, hey, no one wanted this, we all wanted a limit on the amount of members? Because all you're doing is reducing the amount of overall buffs that can be applied to every single member of an alliance. That, again, is a nerf. It's not a buff. So again, this is unfortunate to see. This needs to be changed to either one of those two options, as I mentioned. And I think people will start to be more pleased because, again, I never saw some type of overwhelming ask for this change to happen. And if I missed it, let me know. Send me a link to a suggestion that got hundreds of upvotes. Let me know if you were someone that advocated for this and you're in favor of going from everyone getting the buffs to only a few people getting buffs. I didn't see it. So this one doesn't make any sense to me. And now let's get to 9-2. You can now retain up to 100,000 merits per week. Previously 20,000 at the merit store. Okay, this actually seems like a nice adjustment where people aren't really getting punished or putting a cap or a super low cap on the amount of merits that you can retain from going out there and fighting in the field. They multiplied this by 5 times. I think this is a nice adjustment, right? Where if you want to hold on to merits and use that as a bank, even though you have to use them all up by the end of the season, I don't see a problem with that. I also don't see a problem with them just reducing or removing the entire cap for the amount of merits that you can retain, because there's certain things that you can buy in the merit store that are limited. So again, right, is this a nice adjustment? Yeah, it is. Reducing the difficulty of capturing beasts in the field. Okay. I mean, it'd be nice to know a little bit more of what that means, but if they're just saying they're going to make it easier to capture beasts in the field, okay. Were people finding difficulties in capturing higher level beasts? Again, some explanation there would have been nice as just some context, but if they're just lowering difficulty level, okay. Let's go to 9.4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Added information about heroes' likes and dislikes available on their info page. Okay, that's cool. Listen, I'm always down for a little bit more storyline, more slice of life content. 9-5. It fixed an issue where the effect of Pan's Awakened skill, Prayer of Life, did not reflect the description. Okay. And I want to point out, I like when I see things like this, because to me, it shows that they are noticing issues or errors or things that people from the community are bringing up, or even if they find it themselves, and they're addressing those. I really like seeing these types of things. Please add more in. Then we get to number 3, an even richer combat experience. Artifact skill, auto cast, and easier casting. Yeah, this is funny because I actually did a video talking about this as a suggestion that's going to come out after this video, and you guys are going to probably find it funny. Artifact skill casting is now easier. Tap or click the artifact skill icon, and the system will recommend a suitable target. If you are happy with the target, tap the icon again to cast your artifact skill. Okay, so this is actually... I like this change. I think this is actually nice. Well, let me point out. I think this is nice... Excuse me. I think this is nice. And now I actually have to think about this a bit more. If this is being adjusted for the skills that you have to manually aim, then this is not nice, because you're just removing some of the true skill cap or the skill gap between those that have to manually aim artifacts and making it easier for them. If this is one of those things, like, for example, I wish I had the thing memorized, but if it's like a Tear of Arbin, right, Divine Mercy, that you're clicking and then you're just clicking the area that you're placing it down on, and this is something like that for those particular artifacts, I think that's okay. But if it's something that is now, I don't know. I just don't know if I'm a fan of this. It's not as though this is like a incredibly bad change. It just, part of me feels like this could go down a slippery slope where we start watering down the skill gap, and the skill gap starts going like this and shrinking, and we just start automating things and making it easier. That's not what Call of Dragons is, let's be very clear. That's one of the defining, unique features that this game has in comparison to not only its predecessors, but to its contemporaries that are in the genre. So, this does make me a little worried. I'm curious what you guys think. New artifact skill auto-casting feature. Unlocks the city level 10. When necessary conditions are met, artifact skills will be automatically cast. This feature has a 2-second wait time. You can enable and disable this feature for different artifacts. Oh, no! My ovaries are just really in an incredible amount of pain right now when I read this. This is what I'm talking about. Man, this is it. Like, this is the start of just watering down the skill gap. Yeah, I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't agree with this. This is one of those things where now we're just going more to an automated system, and I don't want it to be an automated system, right? I don't think people that really. I think for players that really understand the difference between what Call of Dragons offers versus other kingdom builders, that's one of the attractable features, one of the unique identifiers that you can say separates Call of Dragons from Rise of Kingdoms, from Infinity Kingdom, from State of Survival, Lords Mobile, etc. The list goes on, and this is one of those things. So this to me is unfortunate. I get it. I understand why people may be advocating for this. And one of the obvious things is when you have large scale, just massive fights with a lot of players in the field, it can be difficult to activate those skills. So it's easier to automate them. However, when you're automating skills in an already massive fight, it's still lagging, right? And so, right, if you're already seeing lag, right, it's not like it's going to change that. So this to me is more of like a finite situation, because you're not getting, every single KVK, you're not getting hundreds of people that are fighting it out, 300, 400, 500 legions, right? For some KVKs you are. And obviously there's a higher chance this will happen more as the game goes on, because more players will be training more troops, and then you'll eventually have larger scale wars. But to me, I don't know. This is something I just don't agree with. I personally think that this is one of those things that is going down a path that's going to water down the skill gap and is leading us to a more automated system, which I just don't, again, I just think is going to hurt the game more in the long run. But again, let me know what you guys think. You agree, you disagree? Let me know your thoughts. Then we get to 3-2, Dragon Trail improvements. Certain stages have become solo escort, tower defense, or behemoth raid stages. Okay. I mean, I guess it just changes. All stages apart from those mentioned above now support auto battle. I'm down. Listen, I will say this about Dragon Trail. I am okay with them adding in an auto battle, which is funny compared to what I just said about the skill casting, but this is PvE versus PvP. I believe there's a difference, and in PvP, the skill gap should show more. Now, you can argue and make the same statement for PvE for those of you that really enjoy that, and you can do the same thing if you want to compare. I mean, obviously they're not making things more automatic for behemoth raids, as an example. I think that would be going a little bit too far. Am I okay with this? Yeah. Is it something that like I can argue against this? I can argue against this too. But I am somewhat okay with this, because the thing is that you may not always be able to auto battle every single thing out in Dragon Trail. You might actually have to start taking some manual control. So, yeah, I'm not going to say I'm overwhelmingly in support of this, but I'm okay with this. I'll say that. You can now multi-legion create legions. You can now multi-create legions and drag legions to switch them out when deploying. Okay, I actually think that's a nice adjustment. Improved display now shows more information during a battle. I'm down for that. More information, more data. Give it to me. 2-3, added simple mode. In the middle of intense battles, a pop-up will appear allowing you to enable simple mode, reducing the amount of unit information shown on screen and making your view less cluttered. Okay, but again, this is for Dragon. Oh, no, sorry, this is general. So this is just for PvP. I mean, this is my thing. If you're basically adding simplified graphics, which is what this is, for those of you that have played Rock and you know simplified graphics, that's what I'm imagining this is. If you're adding this, why do we need to add in the auto cast? Like, it's like contradicting itself. Like, do one thing at a time and then go from there. But yeah, okay, is this a nice ad? It is a nice ad, right? It says a pop-up will appear allowing you to enable simple mode, like we said, reducing and having the view list clutter. So, yeah. Improve Behemoth combat. In Season 2 servers where rule resets have already taken effect, reduced occupation and elite raid difficulty for Giant Bear, Frost Giant, Thunder Rock Hydra, and Necro Giant. Reduced occupation difficulty for Magma Daemon and Frost Dragon, which I'm assuming means they can have more people joining the fights, which is good. That's a W. Rule resets have already taken effect. Where rule resets have already taken effect. Okay, so basically the same thing. They're just reducing the occupation. Reduced occupation and elite raid difficulty. Okay, yeah, so they could have just said, we're going to allow for you to have more people in each of the raids. I mean, they could have just said that in one sentence, but okay. Yeah. I mean, this is a nice change. It is. Season 2 Plus, reduced difficulty and elite raid difficulty for Giant Bear, Frost Giant, Thunder Rock, Hydra, and Necro Giant. I mean, yeah, let's be real. For Season 2 and Season 2 Plus, this needed to happen. So this is a W, a big, big W here on the patch notes. This is great. Reduced proportion of severely wounded units while fighting behemoths in the field. Okay. So I don't know about this one. I think this is one of those notes that needed context. This needed an explanation. This needed to say, okay, well, what's the average amount of severely wounded that you're seeing dying in fights, right? And then, okay, what's the adjustment being made? Is it a 5% decrease, 10% decrease? What are you doing? What's the feedback that you're receiving? This is a missed opportunity where they needed to add in some more context. Let's get to 5. Improved Roots of War observation feature. Tap or click buildings to see a battle report for that building. Okay, I guess I'm somewhat okay with this. Added a highlights button on the bottom right, allowing you to view particularly outstanding PvP battle reports. Okay, cool. That could be cool. I want to point this out. It's interesting to me that in the Roots of War observation feature, this is nice. Like, these are things that I actually think are well done if you're observing a match. And this is actually, to me, it's almost like they're investing and they're setting up for things like commentary and analysis to be done more for those that observe ROW. Now, the thing for me is, like I said, I would just love to be able to observe more matches outside of my alliance. Because, again, if my alliance selects a particular time, and I can't make it to that time, but I could potentially make it to other match times on a weekend, that would be nice to be able to do, because then I could actually start covering ROW like I'd really like to, or as I would really like to. Number 6, in the interest of balance, the following changes have been made to the Joyful Labor talent. Previously, and here we go! I mean, this is what we're talking about! Why can't we just do this, where we give a previous and now to multiple other points that were in the update before? Why can't we just do this all the time? It's unfortunate, but for this one, it's nice to see. So let's read. Previously, when your Legion is hit with a normal attack while gathering, they have a 100% chance to become invulnerable and take no damage for a period of time. This effect can be triggered once every 60 seconds. Now, when your Legion is hit with a normal attack while gathering, they have a 20% chance to become invulnerable and take no damage for a period of time. This effect can be triggered once every 30 minutes. I mean, let's be real. This seems like a big, ginormous L in that it's a nerf, not a buff. Now, I want to point out, right, why I don't get this one, right? Where I understand 100% is 100%, like that. Okay, you can maybe sell me on that if that's where you're trying to aim at this from. But remember, right, where it says take no damage for a period of time, this effect can be triggered every 6 seconds. I mean, you could just increase the trigger time, right? You could maybe have lowered it from 100% to 80%. Why did it have to go to 20%? Also, again, were there people complaining about this talent? Because if they were, I didn't see it, right? And that's not to say that I see every single suggestion. I read a lot of suggestions, but I have never heard anyone overwhelmingly complain about this, whether it's in the Gen chat, if it's in the help chat, if it's in a suggestion, if it's comments on videos. I mean, why is the change happening? That explanation part is important. Again, go and look at League of Legends patch notes. They should be your exhibit A on how to do patch notes, right? Because they do them very well. And again, yes, it's great to get a previous and a now, but above the previous, there should be an explanation for what you're seeing and what you're trying to accomplish with the talent, and then going into the previous and then now change. Yes, a bit unfortunate on that one. Let's go to 7. Improve the deployment screen, changing the position of the multi-select button. Okay. Where is it going? Why did it need to be changed? I guess just, again, some details there would have been nice. Other improvements for 3.8. Fixed an issue where certain artifacts could attack Alliance keeps and rallied armies. Okay, nice. Fixed the display issue for Madeline's rage skill, Blessed Blade. Okay, cool. Fixed an issue where the artifact skill Fleeting Beauty, artifact Springs of Silence, would sometimes hit an incorrect number of targets. Okay, nice. That actually seems like a nice fix. Fixed an issue where the War Pet skill Split Pain Bloom, Super Fierce Attack, and Forceful Tempest would display incorrect values. Nice. Improved the combat aggro system. Infantry legions will now more easily attract enemy attacks in PvE battles. Okay, this actually seems like a nice change. And I'll take that as a W. Let's go to 4. What time? Oh my God, I'm already at 31 minutes. Jeez, this is a freaking packed update. Lord almighty. Okay, 4.1. The Lunar New Year event Dazzling Revelry is coming. Dazzling Revelry is a 7-day series of events with limited edition city themes, avatar frames, and nameplates up for grabs. Nice. Festival Ball Machine. A ball machine made just for the occasion. Take part to win decorative items with a festive touch. Trial of the Beast. Giant bears have been transformed into terrifying Nyan beasts. Call up your friends and join with others to take all these legendary monsters. Okay, so this is kind of like a multiplayer type of event. Okay, cool. Treasure Hunt. Collect treasure map fragments to uncover legendary Lord of all the treasures. Okay. Veil Society Quiz. Unlock treasures with your knowledge. Join the Veil Society Quiz event and win rewards prepared by Veil. Nice. 4-2. Adjusted point scoring and requirements for the Proving Grounds event in each season. Increase the ratio for converting merits to points and increase the merit conversion limit. Okay. Increase the number of points gained for occupying a Supreme Ancestor statue. Okay, I guess that seems like a little bit of a W. Reduced point requirements for each tier of rewards, allowing you to gain more rewards easily. Okay. Reduce the levels of Dwarven Guardians in the Proving Grounds event, making the event less difficult. Okay. I guess if that was something that people were asking for. This one I'm curious on. Increase the ratio for converting merits to points, which means you get less points, and increase the merit conversion limit. Increase the limit. Okay, I mean, I guess increasing the limit's nice. I guess I'm curious. You guys would have to let me know on those ones. Do those mostly seem like W takes to you? Then we get to 4.3. Added a large number of daily event quest rewards. This change will take effect for events that begin after the game version has been updated. I'm actually okay with this. I am actually a fan of this because they're adding in more ways, more things to do, more time you're going to spend in the game, and you can get more rewards from that. This seems like a nice quality of life and free-to-play addition. Tap or click the magnifying glass button next to a hero's name on the event screen to see more detailed information, including their combat record and story content. Okay, cool. Fixed an issue where Alliance markers would display on the treasure map during the treasure hunt event. Okay, nice. All right, now we start getting to some good stuff here, right? Did they do another? Oh, they didn't do another other improvement, but we're pretty much almost done. Okay. Improved display for information on the Alliance war screen. When an Alliance building comes under attack from multiple members of the same enemy Alliance, combat information will be merged together and presented in a single report. Okay, that's cool. I'm down for that. Added an online-offline indicator to the Alliance members screen. When an Alliance member is offline for more than 8 hours, the Alliance leader and titled officers will be able to see how long that member has been offline for. I mean, thank you, bejesus, right? Thank you, Buddha, Gandhi, Mahatma, same difference. This is a very well welcome change, or we should say addition, because it's nice to know how long people have been offline for. right? And if they're saying if they've been offline for 8 hours, and then it's going to go 8 hours, 9 hours, 10, all the way up to 24, and then it'll go 1 day, and then maybe it's 1 day, 1 hour, 1 day, 2 hours, like something like that, and it just keeps going, that's great. That's how I would like for it to work. And it's nice to be able to see who's been offline for a long time, because again, it's one of those things where, and let me be clear, every alliance should be running some type of a time off chat, right? Where if a player's going to be away, they would update you on that Discord channel or on that group chat, or they would update an officer or a leader, and then that officer or leader would write it down somewhere on a spreadsheet or somewhere else so they can keep track of that. So if someone's going to be away for a period of time, they know this person's going to be away, right? And then you can look at your offline report, and then it can show you, oh, well, this person's been off. Okay, well, they're not going to be back until this time. Like, that's how every alliance should be running it. And then that way, anyone who doesn't give you an update or doesn't tell you that they're going to be off for a while and management team isn't aware, you can just most likely assume that person is probably going inactive or they're reducing their playing time. And then it makes it easier to then make those calls in the moment because you have more data. So this is a great change. This is fantastic. This is something that people have been asking for a while. Let's get to 6, a more accessible map. Added markers to the strategic map. You can now select any location or target on the strategic map and lay down an arrow-shaped marker. This is nice. I'm actually for them allowing more tools for alliances that play more into PvP marking and doing more kind of managing general controlling on the field. This is a nice addition, and hopefully we'll get some more of these and even different types of things in the future. Added new interactions for trader camps and mercenary camps. Okay. After completing exploration events on the world map, you can have a chance to receive additional rewards. For the sake of balance, this change will take effect the next time you enter a new season where exploration is available. Okay, that's great. Totally down for that. I think this is actually a nice change. PC improvements. Added in notifications feature important game information can be relayed to you via Windows system notification. Oh, nice. Nice. Okay, I'm down for that. Here we go. That's all we got. Make sure to give feedback. We're at 36 minutes. All players who provide feedback before the update goes live will receive a reward from the Merchants Guild within 5 days after the update comes online. Make sure you give feedback. Let's conclude on our overall thoughts here. I'm going to say, for the most part, I think this update is a net positive. However, I also have to say, again, as always, respectfully, providing what I consider to be professional constructive criticism, is that there are a healthy amount of options and opportunities, I'll say, from the patch notes when it comes to how they're being delivered, how they're being written, and how information is being conveyed. In addition, again, outside of a couple of the points that I talked about, which I just did not agree with, I felt that they were a little bit more on the L side, where, again, why were the changes being made? Those things I have some questions on. The other big challenge for me is the part that we talked about with how some of the notes indicated more of a trend going in an automation or an automated type of direction. That scares me very much. Again, I like the fact that CoD is this combination of like StarCraft and Rome Total War with a little bit of MMO mixed in. Right? And that's not to say that that it's taking 100% of the features from each of these games, but there's small things there that are either similar, familiar, or you can say, hey, that's like something I see in these games. And that's one of the things I absolutely love about Call of Dragons, is that it is arguably the most competitive kingdom builder on the market right now, and it needs to stay within that lane. And making those types of adjustments worry me. With that in mind, that's pretty much it. Again, I'd love to know what you guys think. If you agree, you disagree, let me know in the comments down below. That's going to do it for me on this one. As always, until next time, I will catch you later.